We're recording. Excellent.
Oh gosh.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. A little bit nervous, but it's okay.
Okay, cool. Well, can I introduce you to the students?
Yeah, I don't see your video yet.
Can you see? You can't see us.
Not yet. No.
Oh, right. What's going on here then?
Maybe like a video.
The video is turned off. Right. How about? Hang on. Right. How about that?
Oh, now I can see you guys.
Right. There they are. That's the first year gang. Emily.
That's too serious.
This is simple. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. I'm Emily Hughes. I'm 22. I'm 2 years out of uni, and I'm a children's book illustrator, kind of, or just an illustrator.
Okay, amazing. And can I ask, like, where are you from, and where did you study, and where are you living now?
Yeah. I'm from Hilo, Hawaii, which is like a small, kind of grungy town. And then I moved to Bournemouth for university, and I was there for. I've been in England for 5 years now, but I started in 2009.
Right,
Going on
okay.
5 years. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, we've got feedback here.
Mhm.
Maybe my speakers are too loud. Try that. Okay, and now where are you living and working?
Oh yeah. I'm living in Brighton in my room. This is my room, but it doesn't look very artsy. It's just 2 chairs and a ladder.
It's a nice ladder. What do you use the ladder for?
Oh, I got that with my room. But I use it usually to hang my laundry up.
Ah, nice.
Because I don't know, you can't really see it, but I have like a little sunroof kind of thing. It's kind of like a greenhouse, but it gets really warm. But no windows or doors sadly on the roof. Just
glass.
Just kind of boiling.
And is there's some fruit in the background? Can I see? Is that?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I did that for you guys sadly because I had like this horrible. It's like the panels. It's like a really old kind of apartment building, and they ripped out the carpet, so I have these really ugly kind of wooden floors. But the panels they stacked in the back, and it was kind of unsightly. So I thought I'd decorate it to make it look like I'm more of a pro.
That's nice. Yeah. Well, nothing says professional illustrator like a bowl of fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
Good skills. Is there anything else apart from the bowl of fruit? Can you? Is there anything you can show us in the studio? Any artifacts or knickknacks?
Oh yeah, this is my favorite thing ever. This is like a ceramic head my dad made back in the day. But I think it's ridiculous because he made it when he was like 7, and it looks kind of cool primitive art. But he told me that he asked the teacher to help him out. And like the nostrils are made from like eraser, like like the edge pencil. And he forgot a piece in the back. It's quite creepy. But
yeah,
yeah.
It's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy, but it's a good paperweight.
Handy.
Let's see what else do I have. Ooh, I have some things. This is from my good friend Maria. She just made this. I don't know if you guys know the illustrator Maria Mitten. She studied with me and she did.
Oh
She
yeah.
did this really awesome zine called Nudes. So if you guys are interested. It's a riot. It's great fun.
Is it all just negative space and then like solid fills?
What was that? Sorry.
I'm just how she made the imagery. Is that just lots of like pure shape?
Yeah, she actually screen printed it all, so it's I think she might have done it. I think she did it in her sketchbook. She scanned it and then she made screens out of it.
Right. Okay. Nice.
Quite cool.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah, but to be honest, I've been keeping a kind of minimal theme with my room just because I don't know if I'm gonna move out or. Also, there's like really big wall space and it's hard to have like I need like really big prints actually to put up, so
yeah, sure.
It's quite empty. Yeah.
Do you think as a working space as well, you kind of need to keep it ordered and structured to keep your head clear?
Okay, I'm half about that because, for instance, like. Because I'll show you guys a pic of my studio space and where I'm working. But I was talking about it, and I think the busier and the more inspired I am, the messier my room is and my desk is.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it's too clean, I become really precious about my desk space. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't paint today because like I'm gonna have to wash my desk again for a space. And it's like in the end, like making things, or at least for me, it's just a really messy kind of.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting though because it suggests that it's important that it's a functional space and that you can you can use it in both ways, I suppose.
Yeah. I think you shouldn't be precious about anything. Like, I think that's where people tend to like cock up. Like, like if you're precious about your sketchbook, or if you're precious about like, my desk has to be. Because I guess like when you see on like, Instagram and stuff, everybody has the cleanest desks, and I don't know how they're working on it, just because it's like so pretty.
Lies, it's all lies.
Yes.
Can we ask just at this point? Can you tell us a little bit about how, between leaving university and where you are now in this studio as a children's book illustrator, can you describe that journey a bit, or the things that you've done in the past 2 years?
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like I have very much. Well, right after university, I got really lucky because when I was in uni, I entered the Macmillan contest, the Macmillan Prize for children's books.
Yeah.
And that got me huge exposure. Like I always kept like a blog during university, like from first year. I think it's very important. But because of that, and because I got good feedback from all these other artists around, I was confident. I made the book and I sent it to Macmillan, and I got exposure from that, which is really helpful because that was the year I was graduating. And I think No Brow found me through that.
Yeah.
And they were at this point just starting their imprint Flying Eye Books, which is their children's book publishing house. And it was really crazy because they actually sent me an email right before I graduated, like the day before I graduated. It was like, hey, we're interested, and if you want to like do a book with us. And I was like, oh my God, yes. I was like, I'm so lucky. But yeah, and through that, I did Wild, and that's what I worked on the year after I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And because they wanted to produce so many books in a year span, which most other publishers for children's books, like when you're working with other bigger publishing houses, it usually takes maybe like 2 years to put a book out. So between Wild and my next book, there's like a year gap where I have nothing out. But I'm working on another book with Flying Eye called The Little Gardener, which I'll show you like my process through that.
Amazing.
And I'm working with Walker Books right now as well on like a little bear book. And then I got an agent, and now I'm working on 2 other books in the States. So it's been like a whirlwind, but it's been really lucky that I've been able to get work and pay rent.
That's incredible. So at the moment you're juggling like 4 major projects. Are you having to? How do you split your time in your brain?
Well, I don't even. I'm hoping it comes out, man. I don't know.
Okay.
But like right now, I'm trying to get The Gardener is the one I'm the most ahead with. And I started that one kind of when I came back this summer. So Wild came out in June, July, and then I've been working on Gardener since maybe August. That's when I first had my ideas for it, and then there's been the story building process, and then the drawing. But for the other books I'm working on, I'm just doing the illustration.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's a lot easier to juggle. But I'm doing all the sketches right now for my book with Walker, and I have another book with this American company called Abrams, and I've been starting kind of cover sketches for that. But I'm doing the final pictures for Gardener, so it is quite hard for me to split the time.
Yeah.
So usually if I'm getting bored of one, I go to the other one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck with it all. It kind of covers the first question, but I was wondering if we could perhaps look at some pictures and talk about the kind of artwork you make, if that's possible.
Yeah. I was gonna show you guys like a few. I'll show you guys like some scenes. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, so there's my share screen.
Lovely.
Alright, let's see. I read this really awesome quote. It's in the corner over here, right here. But it was asking about what is style. I thought that was interesting for like, the way I draw, or, and the quote is from this guy named Frederick Tubbs, who said that an artist's personal style seems to stem from geography, climate, diet, and other factors. Some people speculate that other factors might include eye disease, which is actually a really boring quote, and it kind of doesn't do much for like the artist's ego, because you think like, oh, but it's like my interest and my brain and da-da-da-da. But for me, I feel like just these really simple factors like geography and stuff have made like a really big difference in the way I draw or the way I guess I see things. I think it happens to everybody.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so this is, I'm just going to show you like a few pictures of like Hawaii because
yeah, that sounds great.
yeah, just kind of like, just to give a background, because this is kind of like, oh, let's see, there's some kind of gross pictures, by the way, I know, but I think it's for laughs. Okay, sorry.
So you really feel like locality and region has informed the way you draw?
Yeah, I think, well, I never really thought of it before, but somebody had commented that, someone who visited Hawaii commented that, what's it called? That my forest and wild looked like Hawaii. He's like, it has a Hawaiian flavor. And I was like, what does that even mean? I don't know what you're talking about, but there's foxes and bears. I was trying to make English forest or something,
right.
But I obviously didn't understand it because it's not the rainforest I grew up in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also there's a great sense of humor about Hawaii because this is kind of where everyone thinks, you know, I've grown up. Like, oh, it's beautiful, it's tropical, paradise. But like in reality, like you see this kind of stuff on like the side of the road, which is kind of gross.
What is that? Is that like guts and brains and stuff?
Yeah, somebody just, that's kind of the thing you see. I saw that on a walk with my friend on her birthday.
Right. Happy birthday.
You get some, like this is my house.
Nice.
It's very, you know, you can see this house on the side. But I'm showing you this picture in general just because this house kind of inspired me for the gardening book I'm making.
Right, okay, lovely.
Yeah. But there's a good sense of humor about Hawaii, you know, like, just the people are funny and...
It's well good. Do you know if the truck got taken back?
But this is kind of like the town I grew up in. I think there's a lot of weird kind of stories you can find in it, and I guess, I don't know, it's a funny place. I mean, you can find funny stuff everywhere in like your town as well. But yeah, so I'll show you. Okay, let's see. I'll show. So I should show some of my artwork now, just like general art stuff.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah.
Okay. I don't have too much. I'm working on a lot of books, so it's hard for me to have time to do kind of like personal stuff at the moment. Though that's not an excuse. I really should be doing more of my own personal work. This is something I've done, and it's actually still for the book. But.
Okay, so that's lovely. What are we looking at here then? Is this?
This is for the gardener as well, but this is kind of I don't usually work with paint, so this is kind of I don't know. I have this one in particular because you can get really caught up with like most of the time I'm like a very linear kind of worker, I would say. Like I'm more comfortable doing linear stuff than tonal, and so. To keep myself inspired, because I'm working most of the time in pencil and pen, if I use a different medium, that makes a big difference in helping me feel creative, get creative.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So this is something for art. Yeah. So this is not what the book is going to look like at all, but it's kind of fun just to get out of my very my understood way of drawing.
Yeah, and does it also help you kind of make sense of your subject matter? I mean, these look like fairly well observed studies of plants. So you.
Yeah, because it's a research part. No, it's you can see like the poppy and the gazania. There's some flowers in here that you can really tell that are from like studies I've done from floral books, but then there are plants like, you know, like these are kind of plants from memory from like back home or something.
Right. Amazing.
Like this, I don't know what this is. This must have been inspired by something, but it's not in the book.
Yeah.
They're cherries, but they're not even really growing like cherries. It's kind of like research is an interesting thing. I don't really have much to talk about for research, just because I feel like experimenting is more important a step than research is.
Yeah.
I feel like research is important, but if you get too into the research bed, I think it becomes a little bit boring just because it becomes too samey.
Yeah.
It's like too on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for Disney and stuff, like, you know, where they have to act, but you have to have like a sense of your own experiment and your own like touch. Otherwise, you're just kind of doing like, copying.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it strikes me just from looking at this picture here that you've made sense to a certain degree, like how visually these plants function, but then you're just translating that or kind of making sense of that yourself through your own lenses or your own Emily ways.
Yeah, it makes it. I think it gives you can't really Okay, how am I gonna say this? Yeah, because in the end, I think what you really want as an illustrator is you want to get your own kind of personal touch on it. And if you're doing it directly from a book or directly from reference material, it gets really hard to find a place to put your own kind of personal element in there.
Yeah.
So give it you gotta make it fun as well. You don't want to be all studious, like, oh my gosh, well, this flower has like exactly 6 petals, like I can't stray. Like just kind of go crazy, experiment. It might look really bad or it might look really funky. So something new.
Go for it. No, it's amazing. That's great. Let me look at these questions. Is there anything? Could you show us any? I don't know. Maybe I should just ask you to show us what you'd like to show us. Is there anything?
I don't know if anyone's interested in the publishing field, but I have like a lot of stuff to kind of show for kind of like my process, my work process.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, let's have a look.
I'll go through research and stuff. But this is the book I'm working on now, which is The Gardener. And initially, sorry, that's not it. Okay. Well, initially it started off with kind of this drawing. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And okay, it's done in ink. It looks like it's super Photoshop, but I was trying to be artsy again. It just kind of I didn't capture it totally. But yeah, so it started off, this is obviously done back home in Hawaii. Like, look at that stereotypical grass hut, and it's just it's just like flowers in my mom's garden. So I was inspired by being back home because I start usually with a character that I really like in my sketchbook instead of having a story made out. That just I wish I could work that way, but I just don't. And so it started off with this first, and then afterwards I had this kind of idea and I wanted to present it to the publisher because what you'll notice, I think, if you go and approach publishers, so far like what I've had, they really want you to have ideas ready for them, and like if you're kind of going there just like, oh, I'll just do whatever, they won't remember you as much. So if you have a story you can bring along, that is so good. And if you have like a little sketchbook where they can visually see it, that's even better. And so I went to Flying and I brought them this, too big now. And this is like, I'll just go through this kind of quickly. But this is kind of the sketchbook that I brought for the little gardener idea. And I just kind of storyboarded it out. I can show you guys after we do screen sharing. But I have a little book. It's only done in like on a little A5 book.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of just basically sketching out the ideas and really, really basic layouts, just to kind of sell my story better. So I did that, and yeah, I have the whole book, but it's really, really rough, so I won't go through all of it.
These roughs are amazing. Can we see a few more? They're really nice.
A few more, yeah. Okay, so this is the last one we're on. So.
Yeah, there's a real sense of like the kind of immediacy and the charm of your idea. I suppose in this sketch form, there's something really authentic to them that I can see the value of it in terms of a pitch.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think that's like, don't get too precious about any ideas. I think that's important because a lot of times when you neaten up and you tighten it up together, it gets really cold. Like in animation and stuff, for instance. Like I have friends who are working as character designers, and they have all their design pieces are so great and so fun, but when they have to do final form, it gets really serious. So you should have fun with it while you can. It's still just amazing. And then I go through like sketchbook, and if it gets okay, then I go through a period where I just sketch the character, so I really understand him. I really get a feeling for it, because you want to believe this person is real, like it's a real character.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nobody else is gonna. It's also fun. It's like your little baby. So this is like one of my billions of pages of sketches of them. But you see, like there's some really wonky faces in here. Like you don't have to even look hard. Like this one is weird. Or like there's weird legs over here. It's just just have fun with it.
And is this at this point? Are you still? I mean, is this the point where you're developing the character, or just becoming familiar with how you draw him in different poses?
Yeah, this is kind of I'm getting more familiar with him because there's not even like I'm not even using the dot eyes, which you see most of here. I'm kind of getting his poses or his shape of his body. Really, that took me a while to get. It seems really simple, but to get the right thing or the right width of his pants or whatever. Then I can jump over to this one because here's some more sketches. More and more, me practicing cursive. And more sketches.
Great.
Yeah, just see, I mean, it gets very monotonous, and that's my research in a way. Like, but I feel, I looked at a lot of Dust Bowl children.
Right. Okay. Can you explain what that means? Sorry, Emily. Can you explain what is a Dust Bowl child?
Oh wait, what was that? Sorry.
Who are Dust Bowl children?
Oh, it's kind of like you know, in the U.S. During the Great Depression, and it was a huge recession. Everyone was poor. It was just not like a good harvest. Harvest. Like the crops weren't good that year, and so there were a lot of families in the Midwest who were like starving or eating beans. You know, like that. There's like that classic photo of the mother who has like 6 kids, and she's like. Yeah. Worried, looking in the distance. So it's kind of like overalls that are too big. Just a plain shirt.
That's nice. That's nice research as well to kind of like inform your thinking just for the character.
Yeah. It makes it easier and more relatable. Like it gives it kind of a human, I guess. You kind of figure him out because he's kind of starving for his food. That's like the story.
Right.
But yeah, and all that kind of stuff. So I draw for ages, and then I regroup and I brainstorm my story again. And it looks like this. This is my notepad. It's not very neat. It's very messy, all up till there.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then so right now, let's see. And then it becomes to a revised version of the story. So this is kind of like the revised. It's supposed to be like a spread. And I just did this one digitally, so it's not as much fun as. But it's like really simple. You're just trying to get the story across. This is a bad one. We'll skip that one. But yeah. So now I'm starting the real sketches, and this is one of my final images. I'll show you guys. And well, not final, but this is a final pencil sketch.
Right. Wow.
And then I'll color it. So this is kind of like an idea of what it will look like at the end. But it's kind of like, there's a lot of drawing involved to get to this stage.
Absolutely. Do you do, in terms of this kind of final piece of artwork, is this, do you try to do as much on paper as possible? Is this just one composite piece of paper?
Yeah, which kind of makes it it is. And that's kind of like an old school, not very smart way of doing it. Because sometimes when I'm working, I'm just like, oh gosh, like I wish I'd laid this out there. It's really hard to cut it out.
Yeah.
But I think drawing like this is a little bit more meditative for me.
Yeah.
It gets me, I mean, sometimes I feel like it's overworked, but...
No, I would argue there's like a bravery to it. There's an immediacy to it that really comes through. And it was the same in Wild, you know, like the pencil work had like something authentic about it that seemed as though you were drawing straight into the book rather than it being highly processed. Mm-hmm. You know, I appreciate it's like there's a lot of labour involved. Because I mean, how do you amend mistakes? You know, say if you weren't happy with one of those leaves, would you be able to change it?
I have some some brushes on my computer, but they're not very believable. Usually what I'll do is, because I can at least alter the contrast on the computer, then I can, if I erase it and there's like a few weird marks, I can at least kind of clean it up in Photoshop. So it's not too bad.
Okay.
But yeah, it is kind of dangerous. It would be easier to work in spots, but I think, at least for this book, I think the background and like it being kind of in like depth. I mean, I don't know. It's a good idea right now. I'm just going with it.
Yeah, go for it.
It does make sense.
Yeah. What's the image at the bottom there? There's sort of on the left hand side. There's like a tall.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is another of my sketches. This is where I was kind of feeling comfortable with him, finally, because I have some. Because he was going to be like this earlier. He looks kind of froggy, and I kind of thought that was funny, kind of like rednecky in a way.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that idea, but then I was like, oh, well, I don't want people to think he's totally stupid or just like that his garden's failing because he's like inadequate. So he got kind of cuter here. We got kind of like a baby head.
Yeah, absolutely, bigger chin. It's lovely to hear like the amount of thought and the struggle that you're having with all these decisions. It's great, all these details. So can we? I mean, well, I'm just looking at these questions. I mean, it feels like we've kind of touched on a lot of these things already. Emily, is there anything? We've talked about process and design a little bit. I mean, is there anything you want to talk about drawing? Could I ask you, like, how much you draw and like what you feel is like good advice for someone who's trying to like develop their drawing skills?
Oh yeah. Well, I can. Oh man, maybe I should show you guys some of the stuff I did in first year because my drawing was. Well, it wasn't horrible, but it was not at a point like it makes me embarrassed to look back at some of it.
We'd love to see it.
But yeah, I drew loads and loads and loads in uni. And I think what's really important is I drew a lot with people who like to draw.
Okay.
That was really huge. Oops, sorry, somebody's Facebook. Let me see my first year. Oh, I can show you some of my sketch things. Let's see. This is my first year. I'm scared to look back through it. And I drew a lot, and I was almost really into hyperreal. This is where like I was way too into research.
Yeah.
And it was kind of not very fun for me. It was like, it was just kind of like, this is a project on extinct animals and if we should bring them back, and yeah, it was a little bit too much. Like I still obviously like that kind of stoner line work kind of quality, where I'm just kind of obsessed over like really small details. But like, but yeah, I was still obviously like really afraid to draw like my own personal way. I thought it would be easier to kind of just keep it real because no one would question you about your drawing skills. But no, I think what you have to really do is to become a better drawer is that you just gotta draw. You gotta put in the hours, definitely. But it doesn't have to be painful. But I always used to draw with. We go to like sketch cafes. We just go to a cafe and draw people and talk and drink a coffee, or we play drawing games where you just do like exquisite corpses and stuff. And it's people get so precious. I think in university, I've used that word so many times. Precious, but it's just people get so like I know in first year as well. Like I remember really clearly how precious it is even sharing your sketchbook. Like you're like, oh, this is so personal. This is like my interpretation of like, or no one should share, like you shouldn't share your ideas or whatever. And that's all silly. Because you should just be having fun. And most of the time, I think trying to make laugh. That's probably the most real stuff you're making because it's just at least it's evoking something. It's making you laugh. It's silly.
Yeah.
And so I try to keep it fun, but sometimes, especially after this is like now it's hard to keep positive about it.
Yeah.
Drawing for fun. Now it's like drawing for rent money, but I'll show you guys something I did in Ireland. I went to Ireland and I kept a sketch journal, and that was really fun.
Yeah, let's have a look. That's amazing advice. I'm really sorry about this banging. Someone's got a hammer. It's so annoying.
No, it's alright.
We're building a statue.
Okay. But yeah, so I went to Ireland and I just kind of had fun with my buddy Meredith. We were just hanging around. Most of the time we were actually hanging out in her studio, so we didn't do too many cool things, but it was kind of fun just trying to capture little moments of being in Ireland. Because there weren't anything really big, like no big events really. It was just like, the Jim Larkin statue in Dublin. It was raining, it was a crap day. And he was like, obviously he's like, you know, having a great speech, but he just looked like he was complaining, so it was really funny. At least for us, I don't know. It's decent funny. Let's see.
When was it you went to Ireland?
I just went in the end of February, beginning of March, so this is kind of recent.
Okay, cool.
This is like the last like big personal thing I've done recently, so I'll skip around. This is something we saw at 4 p.m. And I like this one especially just because we were on James Street and they all had different variations, all the buildings of how to do like James and ownership, like plural James. So there's like James, or like Jameses, or apostrophe. I don't know. It was just ridiculous. It was fun.
Have you got it up on screen your end? Because we can't see it here.
Oh, you can't see it?
No.
Oh, am I off? Oh shucks. Okay, sorry.
It's weird because I can still.
Is it weird? Okay, let me try and turn it off and on again. It might be acting up. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I apologise for the banging. It'd be alright if it was a drum.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yeah, so this is one of the streets and obviously like I use my black pen a little bit too much where it's kind of hard to see, but you know what, it was just fun, so.
And were these just drawings that you did like in a sketchbook and then you did a bit of colouring when you got home on photo?
Yeah, actually it was, it's not watercolor or anything, it's just one of those combo pens.
Right, okay, yeah.
I love those pens, they're a bit expensive, but I mean, if you can invest and like slowly start a collection, they're so much fun.
Yeah.
At least I like and incorporate some color in your sketchbook, especially when I use mainly lines. But yeah, no. So some of them I would actually like. This one I went there to sketch it out. That's why it looks I think a little bit better than some of my other ones because a lot of them are kind of from memory,
Right.
so they're a bit skewed. Like there's some certain elements like I definitely remember, and a lot of the times I'm just kind of adding bits and pieces to. Like let's see. Like this bridge, like, look at this bridge. Like, this is from my brain. It doesn't, and it's a lot nicer than that. But
No, but it's great. It's really nice to see that you having to try and solve those problems. I guess. Can I just in terms of your drawing, because you like there's this really interesting balance between like line work to define form and shape, and then line becoming mark and tone.
yeah.
I presume you do your line work first, but then do you think about certain information that you're going to draw just as tone and mark, rather than drawing everything in line first? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense. I hope I can answer right. No, let's see, how would I work? Well, usually, like, okay, so for mainly, like, my finished pieces that I'm doing right now, I do know the main kind of focus. So, and at least in this Kilkenny drawing, the main focus for me is my friend Meredith and I. And my friend Meredith is wearing sunglasses because I like screwed up her eyes. So, so I did screw up. You just gotta play around with the color. Just make it look like it wasn't a mistake. That's like I think 95 of my job. But yeah, so I kind of outlined that, and then I think I get tonal with things I'm kind of unsure about.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So because I don't have a predicted idea of when I'm doing backgrounds for books like Wild or The Gardener, there's like a lot of leaves and stuff. I'll try to bring that back up again. But yeah, it's actually kind of I'll make the gardener, like I definitely know what I want the gardener, the main character of action, to be doing. And then I just kind of have fun with the rest of it.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of just forms. Maybe I do like the bigger part right here, like the leaf above his head with all those veins. I definitely thought of that one. But the rest of them I kind of just added around. And that kind of makes it more fun for me as well because it's hard to keep a spontaneity in a finished piece. I have a very hard time with it.
Well, can I just ask then, in terms of, as well as letting things grow organically, excuse the pun, do you like consider and design composition to some degree with scamps? Do you think about like sort of line of sight or like whether you want depth to be in an image or a balance of thirds or anything?
Oh gosh. If I do it, it's not consciously.
Okay, cool.
Or at least I'm not thinking about it. But then there are some things that I think about when I'm drawing. If something doesn't look right, I do erase all the time.
Yeah.
Or like especially with like those darker leaves at the bottom, just set these or like pebbles. It's because to me in my eye that there's like too much empty space, so I'll add like little bits.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So there's a lot of intuitive kind of problem solving happening all the time.
Yeah.
But you've got to have a lot of. I mean, I guess what strikes me about your practice, and it comes from, I suppose, exhaustive drawing, is that you seem very assured, very confident in your decisions. Is that a lie, or are you faking it?
I think I am. I think I'm comfortable. I think it's. I think because drawing has never been drawing for me, has been my mom giving me receipts from her purse to keep me occupied. Like, go and draw something. There's always been like a throwaway quality or you gotta fix it quick. Like, Emily, you can't use any more printer paper. You only get this stack.
Right, okay.
Like, you need to, or because you can fix any image as well.
Yes, yeah, that's the fun bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun problem solving as well. So.
Okay, cool.
Or sometimes it's just gone to shit and you have to.
Okay.
But,
this is amazing. Can I ask you, just as we're moving down the list of questions, then, what advice, if you could give like one piece of advice to these first years here, what do you think you wish you'd been able to tell yourself in your first year?
Okay. I think what to give advice to like first year me, I would say, don't take yourself so seriously. That's a huge one because when I first went to university, what I wanted to do or what I thought was the best children's illustration was really outdated. I thought the golden age of illustration, like Rackham, and they're all amazing.
Yeah.
Rackham and Dulac and all those stuff. I was like, oh, I really want to learn realism. I really want to, make all these like awesome old school picture books. And it just kind of clashed with the way I naturally drew. It was what I really respected and appreciated, but it wasn't the way that I naturally drew. And I was kind of getting stressed out and frustrated because it wasn't going according to how I thought my uni would go. Like, I thought I'd be learning how to do like, form and function or not form and function, but like and anatomy and stuff. And I was trying to do all those, but I wasn't having fun with it, and it was stressful. It was just kind of. It's hard to know what is natural for you, but if you go with what you have fun with, that's kind of the best way. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for saying that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, because it's really easy to get on like obsessed over like certain artists, and that's totally cool, and that's necessary to practice 100%. But rein it in and know what you do as well and what you're good at, and try to maybe incorporate it or just learn from people you admire rather than take or try to make a kind of shy version of. Because I think that's the best kind of illustration is like the ones that they have they're very personal, they have a good sense of.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll just set it to the group. Is there anything you guys want to ask Emily? Any questions?
Yeah. Obviously, because I'm like a big fan of your work, like I really, really like it, and I know obviously you work predominantly like in like kids' book illustration, but I was just wondering,
Can you hear us?
That might have been my computer.
It's okay.
Am I on?
Yeah, I think we're on. Yeah, sorry, I'll hand you back to Sophie. Go on, Sophie.
Shall I ask again?
Yeah, yes. Yes, start again.
That's okay.
My video's not on.
There you go.
Yeah, so, I'll share screen again.
Can you see us?
Yeah, I can see you guys fine.
And can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. You guys are on air.
Okay. Cool. Right, we'll try it again. Oh no, you've gone again.
Oh no!
Oh,
Again?
no, you're here. You're here. You're back again. It's fine. I'm so bad with
There's
computers.
no red button on. Okay, there we go. But yeah, am I on?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're living in the future. Right, I'm going to hand you back to Sophie. Right, Sophie, go for it.
I know obviously like a lot of your work is in like kids' books, and you work predominantly like with like children's illustration. But because that's kind of something that I'm interested in, but I'm also kind of interested in like other work that maybe is for a different audience to that, and that might conflict with an audience that would have like a kids book illustrator, like someone who illustrates kids books probably wouldn't then be suitable to draw comics about Godzilla or something, because it might not be, you know, appropriate for a 5-year-old. But I was just wondering, is that something that, like, do you do like personal work for yourself, or work with other areas that maybe might conflict that might affect you getting work, or is it more important to be more true to yourself with like what you like to draw?
Yeah, well, I feel, well, the thing is, because my view of children's books, like, I don't like it when, like, I feel like my style is still very much my style, and I don't think I would change it from doing my children's books to my adult books, just because, well, I probably do a little bit, I probably, like, make it a little bit more cutesy, but I feel like you don't need to change yourself that much for a different audience, unless you're doing, like, some weird, like, erotica or something, which might be a bit weird. But I mean, no judgment or anything if anybody is in your class. But that would be like a very different kind of topic. But I think that you should be able, like, if you it is hard because I know a lot of people stress about this. But for me, like, I haven't done any other work besides really my children's books that haven't really out yet. So I'm pretty new myself. And the thing is, I wouldn't want to. I only have this style now. So if I go out trying to do a comic book, I'm kind of screwed. But I have gotten asked by this French comic company to do some comics, and what I really want to do is just something on like like Beginner's Guide to the like Communist Manifesto or something ridiculous would be really fun. But I don't think I would change my style for it. I think if you really respect kids as well, like, you won't cutesify too much for them.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, so you should always stay true, because what I was saying earlier is, like, you're number one audience, like, you know, yourself. So you always have to make it so it's something that you're happy with and totally cool with putting out on the market or whatever. And maybe it is like where you can change your style, and I think that's totally fine. I think people will respect you more if you can do different kinds of work. I had one kind of teacher that said you can even maybe give yourself an alias, like if you want to like go by your regular name for like children's books, and then call yourself like, I don't know, E.H. Rowling or something for your for your Godzilla comics or something, you know? I don't know, it's just yeah. But don't freak out too much. Like, just maintain your style, and usually you can figure out what outlets you can put it into.
That's amazing. Thanks, Emily. Is there anything else anyone wants to ask? No? Okay, cool. Well, last question then, Emily. What's the difference between illustration and great illustration?
Oh, that was a hard question. I have like my little sheet of all my questions and my answers, but I couldn't figure out something for that one. I would say illustration and illustration. I'm still trying to figure that out, man.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we could talk again maybe next year or the year after, and we'll ask you again. There's really no rush. I don't know the answer yet. It's why we keep asking everyone.
Okay.
It's been really, really nice to talk to you. Your answers and your examples have been really, really interesting. Can we give Emily a round of applause? Have a nice afternoon, and good luck with everything, with all the books you've got coming on. You've got lots of fans here, and we'll be keeping an eye out for what you're doing. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
I had a good time. Bye, guys.
Cheerio.
Bye. Bye.